Hey, so in this session, I am going to be talking to you all about how to stop yo-yo dieting and how to overcome that food guilt that you have. So, yo-yo dieting is one of those things that a lot of us do it, and some of us aren't even very aware that we do it. And it's one of those traps that we fall into in life, and we fall into it because we've maybe done a really bad diet in the past, that we've maybe bought like a tea diet or like a quick fix diet, like I lose all these pounds in this short space of time. And then from that, we go through this phase where we're under eating for such a long time that we then get really, really hungry. We start to trigger loads of cravings. And then all of a sudden, we have this other end of the cycle where all we want to do is eat. So some of us call that binge eating, when you then go into that phase of like eating non-stop and you just cannot get enough food, and then sometimes you feel sick. And then other times it can just be that yo-yo cycle of, you're maybe eating 1,300 calories a day for 5 days, and then you eat 3,000 calories a day for 3 days, and then you're back on 1,200 for 4 days, and you're just in this constant calorie up and down cycle that your body is just not able to adapt to. And some people just fall into that yo-yo cycle because they have a really busy life Monday to Friday, and then at the weekend they go out and they have a great time and they eat all this food and they consume all these calories, and then people aren't actually aware that they're in what we call a yo-yo diet cycle, because they think in their heads that they're eating so well Monday to Friday that they can have a cheat at the weekend or a treat at the weekend, and they're actually just blowing the calories out the park. And potentially, if you are trying to lose weight, or you're trying to get healthier, or you're trying to kind of balance your hormones or balance your energy at this time, then this yo-yo cycle is going to knock everything off and make everything feel a lot worse than what it actually could be and what it actually is. So that yo-yo cycle that you end up in can come from so many different things, as I've just said. Like, it can come from that Monday to Friday eating really well, and then at the weekend absolutely blown out of the park. Or it can actually come from being on a diet or doing a ridiculous diet phase that maybe involves, eating nothing of certain food groups and really restricting your calories to really short, small eating windows. And then you all of a sudden increase your calories for a short space of time and really overload the calorie consumption, and that just puts you into that yo-yo cycle. And then off the back of that, what we normally find, or what we often see, and what I always see when I'm talking to clients, and that happens myself, like, I felt it, you definitely have felt it, and it's quite a frequent thing that we do feel, and it's quite common, and it's sad that it's become common and almost normative for us to feel it. But we feel this guilt, and the guilt that I believe that you feel is because you've been conditioned to believe that foods are good and foods are bad, and certain eating behaviors are good or bad. And like I've just said there, that Monday to Friday eating well and then going out of the weekend and blowing the ass out of it, or however way you want to say it, you're conditioned to believe that that's a negative thing. Therefore, you're conditioned to believe that because you've been out at the weekends and had a great time, that you should then feel guilty. And then it's almost this sense of you then need to pull back, and you need to clutch back at calories, and you then need to diet moving forward because you've disappointed yourself, or you're incapable of sticking to a diet plan, or you're just not good enough. And then we start to get into these places of lack of self-worth, lack of self-discipline, and then we make ourselves feel a lot worse. And when you start to make yourself in that downward spiral, we do really start to beat ourselves up, and then our problems with emotional eating become a lot worse. Is when those problems with emotional eating do get a lot worse, that it then becomes a huge problem. And for a lot of us, it's that problem with emotional eating that in turn does mean that, oh, hello, um, awesome. Yeah, sorry, I just got knocked off when someone else joined there. where was I? Emotional eating, yeah. So when you do have that emotional eating spur, that's when you then really do start to feel that food guilt, and you do allow yourself to believe that you're not good enough. And it's because of that yo-yo cycle that you've entered your body into, or you've fallen into, whether it's through doing someone's really bad diet information in the past, whether it's been conditioned into you from when you were young, whether you just have this constant need to be a certain size or certain body shape, and you're constantly putting that pressure on yourself to pull calories down, and then you can only do that for such a short period of time before your calories then boost and rocket back up and you're falling back into that yo-yo wagon again. So where yo-yo dieting actually comes from and why you do it is because of those poor diet decisions that you've had in the past, and because of those situations that you've actually put yourself into. And you're not to blame, it's not your fault. You've just fallen into poor advice, and you've fallen into the trap that so many people fall into due to, and this is the second thing that I really want to talk about, is why it's actually the fitness industry's fault that you are a yo-yo dieter. And it's so much of it is down to us and the message that we put out as trainers and as body confidence coaches or body positive coaches. Like, we're trying to pull away from this whole notion of one size fits all and you need to be this size and you need to be this shape. But up until the body confidence movement or the body positive movement, or up until people started to have a voice and feel like they could say this is not right, the fitness industry was all about having this perfect body shape. And I was part of it. I come from a bodybuilding background. I know what it's like to diet to that insane extent, and to get your body into that incredible physique and into that incredible condition so that you can get on stage and so that you can look your absolute best in the world. But it's so detrimental to your health, and it's so negative on your relationship with food, and it's so negative on your psychological side of that post-show, that reverse diet, and that actually trying to put food back into your body. And even though you are in such control and you're so disciplined around your food, and you know you can diet so hard and then you can start to drip food back in, binge eating was a huge trigger for me at that time. And because my binge eating triggered around my shows back 2016, from that binge eating, I then became a yo-yo dieter. And I was a really bad extreme, because I would be beating myself up so much because I couldn't follow the plan, and I was so hungry all the time, and I would be eating all these horrendous foods, doing all this awful stuff to my body, and then trying to train to out-train that bad diet. And I was putting myself into that cycle, and I know exactly what it feels like to be in that place where you just have this constant guilt around food and this shame, but you're also hungry and you don't know what advice you might be following. Can you control your body? Is it all in your head? Do you have self-control? Are your hormones off? And you start to have all these questions, and you have all this stuff going on, and you're just not sure where you stand. And a big part of the yo-yo dieting problem that we now have is because of that fitness industry and the image that we push, and a lot of the time the image that people in the industry are representing. Because as I've moved through the industry and as I've got to network with so many people, actually the amount of people that still struggle with their relationship with food, who are actually in the industry and promoting this personal, positive, happy message around food, is just terrifying. It is just terrifying that there's so many people out there who are giving advice and trying to help people coach through their own eating habits and binge eating and yo-yo dieting and fat loss, weight loss, whatever you want to call it. And they're not even in a place themselves where they fully understand the psychology and the behaviors and the ways to overcome that food guilt and that food shame and that yo-yo dieting themselves, because they are still not fully in control. And that was me for such a long time. I was trying to pretend that I knew everything and I had everything and I'd figured it all out. But meanwhile, I was so unhappy and so unconfident in my body, and I was binge eating because I didn't have control. And control is a mindset. The yo-yo dieting is a mindset, and the guilt you have around food is a mindset. And it all comes down to your ability to change your own thoughts, your ability to almost black out the things that you see in everyday life, and your ability to work with someone and connect with someone and be part of a network that's actually going to support you and help you and guide you through it, rather than it always being about lose weight, rather than it always being about cut calories, rather than it always being about do more. We actually need to address what is going on internally with people and where's their mindset at, and are they actually eating enough calories in the first place to enter into a diet, or is their relationship with food so bad that by putting them into a calorie deficit, you're just adding flames to the fire. You're not actually helping someone overcome if you're taking someone who has a negative relationship with food, who's not in control, who's doubting themselves, who has no self-belief, who has no self-confidence, and you're not encouraging them to improve that relationship with food first and learn to love their body and love their self and love what they can do in life. So I do think that the fitness industry does have such a huge part to play in all of this, and as more people hopefully like myself come forward and start to talk more about, you know, the actual depths of yo-yo dieting and binge eating and the impact that it can have, and we start to use our experience and our guidance and, you know, all the things that we've learned to help other people, hopefully we can really start to make a positive shift and a positive change in this industry. And you listening to this and you watching this, hopefully you see that there is someone out there who can guide and support you and help you, because yes, you can lose the weight, but there is a way you can do it where you can feel good, where you can love yourself, and where you do not absolutely hate every second of it, where you do not feel guilty, and where you're not constantly questioning and constantly challenging your own beliefs. So I want to now talk about some of the really simple things that you can start to do to actually overcome that yo-yo dieting and overcome that kind of food guilt or negative relationship with food that you have. And some of the really simple things you can do obviously are to start looking at the foods that you're eating on a daily basis and to start looking at your eating windows. Now, a really good thing that I get clients to do first and foremost is to just try and encourage them to eat every 3 to 5 hours. So it doesn't matter at first really how big your portions are or how small your portions are. It's more about getting you to look at your plate, look at what's on your plate, and just starting to identify, is there a protein source? Is there a carbohydrate source? Is there a fat source? And is there a vegetable source? And as long as you've got those 4 sources on your plate and you're eating every 3 to 5 hours that you're awake during the day, and you can really start to just implement that into your daily routine really simply, and start to figure out, you know, are you hungry? Do you want more food? Are you in full control of your portions? If you're hungry, you can increase your portion sizes. If you feel like you're maybe gaining weight or you're getting really bloated, then it's about that point in time you've got to address, are you taking a fiber supplement? Are you needing a digestion supplement? Or is there a food source that you're currently consuming that is not reacting well with your digestive system? And do we maybe need to look down a route of seeking some other professional advice? Because if you are eating every 3 to 5 hours, that's going to be 4, maybe 5 really small meals maximum in a day. And if you are just eating those small plates frequently and just starting to make your body feel good internally, then that's really going to shift you in a better direction of healing your relationship with food. It's the days that you miss or you don't eat for long hours that we then get these cravings in the evening, or we get these uncontrollable desires to eat. And 9 times out of 10, they come because someone has missed a meal. A lot of the time, yeah, they can be emotionally driven, or they can be stress driven, or they can just come from the fact that you've not ate. So if you are aware that you're not eating frequently, then the first thing you really need to do is to start to increase your food portions and eat more frequently throughout the day. Eat in eating windows that work for you. But if you do find that you miss breakfast, you eat a really late lunch, and then you're really snacky and bingy in the evening, then you need to start to introduce food earlier in the day. You probably need to then start to look at the actual foods that you're consuming, and are you eating enough proteins and are you eating enough fats? Because proteins take longer to break down down within the body, and fats do help those proteins help you feel fuller for longer. So often if we are vegetarian or vegan, we eat quite high carb based diets, and a lot of the time you might not be feeling full from a high carb based meal, which then maybe means you need to add in something like Kadam beans in a higher volume, or chia seeds, or other things that are going to start to make your gut feel fuller, so that you're not getting that hunger pangs and those hunger cravings that are then triggering you to binge or go off the scale. It's also about getting yourself out of that mindset of, I'm going to be good Monday to Friday and then I can have a treat or cheat at the weekend. That is like golden nugget we need to shift away from. You need to look at your life as every single day, your week as 7 days, your month is 28, 30, 31 days, whatever it is. And there's no, oh yes, it's that Friday feeling, let's go do this, this, and this. That's something that's quite cultural, and it's something that we need to try to train ourselves out of. Now, if you're someone who works Friday, Saturday, Sunday, you probably don't get that weekend feeling, and then you maybe get a kind of weekend feeling on like a Monday or Tuesday. That's kind of like me. I'm off on a Tuesday and a Wednesday. But I don't immediately think, oh, Tuesday, Wednesday, it's time to go party and like reward myself because it's that weekend feeling. So it's just about changing that mindset in your head and actually just looking at the days of the weekend as another day. Yes, you might have a meal out, but you know and you understand the principles around, you want to be eating small meals every 3 to 5 hours. So when you have a night out and you're going to be having a meal, you can still design your plate in a restaurant to follow those guidelines. You're maybe going to only have 2 meals before your night out, so that you can have a main meal and a dessert, or a main meal and starter. And you might also want to have a glass or 2 of wine in there. There's nothing wrong with that. That's normal, that's human, that's great. We just want to make sure you're having plenty of water and that you're feeling good, and you're not doing things because someone else is doing them, or you're doing them because you feel pressure to do them. You're doing them because they make you feel good, they make you feel happy, and you've got that good connection in that moment. People who can learn to just adapt their weekend habits into their weekly habits and have their eating consistently all the time generally do see the most results when it comes to weight loss and these methods. And they are the people who are feeling energetically and mentally the best the whole time. And this is a huge thing in that window, is that it's about getting it consistent all the time so that your energy is balanced and your health is leveled. You don't have these days where you rip the ass out of it and then you feel bloated, you feel guilty, you feel horrible because you've just let everything lose control, and then you start to spiral back down again. So it's just really starting to implement these thought processes into every single day, and looking at every single day as this blank canvas. We're eating every 3 to 5 hours. This is how it works. We know if we've got a big meal in the evening, we're going to pull a meal earlier in the day, and we're just going to follow the same principles. It's nothing drastic, it's nothing major, but it's just about your mindset and your approach to every day and your approach to food. So another huge question I always get is, yeah, but how long is it going to take? And how long is it going to take for me to heal my relationship with food? And how long is it going to take for me to stop wanting to binge? And how long is it going to take for me to not feel guilty? And the truth is, it can take some people 6 months. It can take some people 2 years. Some people can do it even quicker than that. And it is a really difficult one, and it is really personal. And it's one of those ones where, in order to really get a good effect and to make it last for the long term, the more you can do every single day, the more you're going to improve, and the more you're going to start to unravel those negative habits that have crept in over the years. So if you can commit to doing 10 minutes of reading a personal development or positive book, and maybe 20 minutes of listening to a positive mindset podcast, or taking 20 minutes to meditate, or 10 minutes to meditate, 10 minutes to stretch, like all these types of things, journaling, whatever, every single day, that really start to reinforce your positive thoughts and reinforce your positive energy within yourself, then you're going to start to break these habits down and get over that yo-yo dieting and that binge eating a little bit quicker. Because if we think back to the very beginning, we know that yo-yo dieting and these binges can often come from these imbalances in our hormones through yo-yoing food, but they can also come from an emotional connection, and that lack of emotional connection, if we're angry, we're upset, we are feeling lonely, we are really hungry and we just want to eat the world because we've had a bad day. And it's just about starting to work through these emotions within yourself and finding other channels to let loose and to get rid of that energy and actually start to make your body feel a little better, so that that connection you have with sadness and food starts to dismantle. And whenever you feel sad, you find a new way to deal with it. It's the same thing for when you feel angry, if you eat, or if you feel lonely, you eat. It's just about finding other things to do with that time and rewiring that thought process in your head and rewiring that mechanism so that you can start to make the changes for the longer term. And these are things that you're going to have to do every single day. You cannot just waking up and be like, okay, well, I done 10 minutes of work today, I'm feeling really good, and then you don't binge that day, cool, I'm cured. The next day, you got to keep working at it, and you got to work at it every single day until you feel like your lifestyle has changed. And you'll know it's changed because you'll be living a different life. Your whole makeup to food will be different. Your whole makeup to exercise will be different. Your whole wake up to personal development and the things you do in everyday life will just be different. You'll be radiating a different energy, and you'll know, okay, now I know I need to eat every 3 to 5 hours. Like, my body likes these meals. I've lost the weight. I'm feeling good. I'm training well. Everything is good. But how long that takes depends on your ability to commit and your ability to be consistent. If you're not consistent with these things every single day, then you're just throwing spaghetti against a wall and hoping that some of it will stick. You're never really going to know. The less you commit on a daily basis, the longer it's going to take. So this is one of the things that I have designed and implemented into our new nutrition hub, because I am so passionate about making sure people have something that they can look at every single day, and making sure that for 12 weeks, that every single day there is something that is going to help you connect to yourself and connect to your eating relationship and connect to those eating habits, and actually start to propel you forward and allow you that space for improving your relationship with food, improving your relationship with yourself, and then overall ending that yo-yo dieting, that binge eating, and that negative guilt feeling. But that is only going to happen through consistency, through action every single day, and through time. And that's how the 12-week course has been designed, so that every single day there is something you can draw attention to, or you can reference, or you can look at, and you can be reminded that you need to work on this every day. So we look at how to set goals, we look at portions, we look at macros, we look at calories, we look at shaping your plate, we look at different options in food, weekend, alcohol, stress, sleep, how all of these other things you can make the smallest little changes to actually overcome. But then we've got the mindset and motivation episodes, and just the short little pieces of advice that I give you so that you can listen to every 2 to 3 days, every single week. And you can listen to these audios and just have me with you on your journey. And remember that you're not alone, and that when things do start to get tough, there's always an audio there that is going to help guide you and push you through so that you keep going and you can get out the other side. And then, of course, we've got our Facebook group, we've got our support channel, we've got so much to help and support you, so that you are not forced, but so that you can go at your own pace. And if you're ready to commit with 10 minutes a day, there's something for you 10 minutes a day. If you're ready to commit 10 minutes every second day, then that still will work. You're just going to get there a little bit slower. So yeah, you can still lose weight. You can always lose weight by improving your eating habits, because if you are yo-yo dieting, your calories are so up and down and all over the place. Your body's going to have inflammation, your body's not going to be balanced, your hormones are not going to be fully set. So as soon as you start to regulate your food and regulate those levels, you'll notice you'll lose that excess water straight away. Then once you've lost that excess water, it's time to start to look at, are you losing body fat? Are you losing it consistently at a pound a week? If not, what do we need to do to tweak that? And all of this is explained in the 12-week course, and you're taken through it module by module, so that you will never ever be stuck again for how to lose weight, how much time it's going to take your body based on where you are, and what is actually required from you to get to that result. Now, the most things that clients come up against, and that have clients come up against in the past. And the reasons that they struggle is just because they feel, dare I say that word, overwhelmed. Because it is a lot of information, and I've bite-sized this new course so that it's not a lot of information. It's 10 minutes once a week, and then it's a few things that you can look at every single day. And it takes that overwhelm out of it so that it's something that's really easy, you can listen to on the go, and you can fit into your life. Because when people start to feel struggle and people don't find things easy, they quit and they give up. The second that something gets hard, we give in. We're humans, that's what we do. We don't persevere, and if we've not got someone standing over us shouting at us, we do give up. If we've not got someone to hold us accountable, we think no one's looking and we walk the other way. And the problem with that mindset and the problem with that attitude is you're the only one that can change your life. You're the only one that can make a difference. And if you are constantly looking for someone else to be standing over you, telling you what to do, then you might never be successful, because you have to take accountability. You have to take that ownership, and you have to be willing to put the work in yourself. We are not successful, we don't get change by someone giving it to us. We have to work for the things we want in life. And to heal your relationship with food, to overcome yo-yo dieting, to overcome that food guilt, it is all about your ability to do the work every single day. Start to address your fears, figure out where that guilt comes from, figure out what is triggering you and making you want to eat 5,000 cookies at 10 o'clock on a Friday night, and really start to write to yourself and break it down, whether it's meditation, journaling, whatever it is you do, talking to someone, and really start to piece together the things that you need to do to overcome that. And as much as I can help you and I can guide you and I can give you all the tools in the world to get you there, you still have to be ready and willing to do the work. Because the people that are successful and the people that live these happy, fulfilled, healthy lives that look like there's never any problems, but there are still problems going on, are people who are at least living up and addressing and then doing the work to take the action. So yeah, that's our main 6 topic areas. And I hope you have found this useful. Obviously, I've recorded the whole thing, so I'm going to package it all together and pop it out in an email, because I know there's a few people that haven't been able to make it, which is fine. And then we'll put it into some snippets, and you guys can email me any questions, any comments, any concerns. The Nutrition Hub does start on January 5th, the 12-week course. And doors have opened now. You should get an email in the next kind of 24 hours offering you a spot. If you do want to jump on that spot, you're going to save £300 if you join before Monday. So yeah, you're saving £300 on that spot. It is 12 weeks, fully intensive, but it's the only 12 weeks you will ever need to change your relationship with food, to overcome your dieting, to heal that guilt, and to really stop the binge eating. I will be there with you the whole way through the course, supporting and guiding you, and you'll have my education videos, my handouts, my meal plans, my recipes, my audios. You will have full access to our Facebook community and our network. You will get your £320 worth of goodies sent out to you as long as you reply to the email with your name, address, date of birth, and email. Reply to the email with your email, name, address, date of birth. And you'll get everything sent out to you. So I cannot thank you enough for tuning in, for listening. And yeah, I really do hope we catch up in emails, because you probably will have some questions. There's probably some things there that you're thinking, yeah, that's me, or I would like to talk about this a little bit more. So please reach out, get in touch, and that offer is there for you until Monday. I really, really do hope you join me, because it's going to change your life. You're not going to get this anywhere else, because as I said, I'm about real. I've worked through it all myself, and I've worked through it now with hundreds of clients. And what I do is I help people overcome yo-yo dieting, binge eating, and heal that relationship with food. And that's what we're here to do. 2020 is all about pushing it and getting as many women as possible to heal that relationship and get them on their journey. So if there's anyone you're in your life that you're thinking about that this will work for, put them in touch with me. Let's talk it out, and let's make sure that this is going to be right for them. Because if people are ready to change, I'm ready to help them transform and evolve. So thank you so much. And any questions, you know where I'm at. Otherwise, have an incredible evening and peace out.